Yo, welcome back everyone to another Stu42 Minecraft video. I thought I'd take a bit of a break from the playtime sort of videos I've been making recently and do another one of the sort of how-to videos on bees. Bees is quite a large topic, so I think what I'll do is I'll just do a very quick introduction in how I get started with bees anyway. I know the last few episodes I've done have been all about getting frames and seed oil, and I've had alvearies, and I've been quite advanced on the bee sort of line of things, but I haven't haven't even really gone back and explained how I got there in the first place. So first things first, I'm going to assume a bit of knowledge with you guys. So I'm going to assume you know how to make an apiary. You're going to need to make it with you need seed oil. So the first thing you really need is to just get some bees going. So the easiest way to do that is to just have a single type. So, you know, a forest queen and some forest drones, and you just keep putting the same ones back in and back in and back in until you end up with a nice stack of drones. We will need a lot of drones as well, which I'll show you in a second. And this can take a bit of time. There are several ways of automating this. You know, apiarist pipes that you can use, import and export buses. There is an apiary refiller module from logistics pipes, but as of this version, which is Direwolf version 1.0.19 public beta pack, that doesn't work on apiaries. It only works on the alvearies, and the alvearies you can't make straight away. So let's go have a look at our first goal. So I'll take you back over to my bee machines. So this is your first goal. These 4 machines are the first machines that you should, well, this machine is the first one you should make, the gene pool, followed very closely by these 4. I know that there are lots of other machines that you can use, but I find it really easy just to get to these first. So 3 of these are fairly easy to make. So if I go in here and look for extra bees. So we have the where are we? The isolator, which is one of the first things you need. So yep, you're going to need some emeralds and some blaze rods. Not super easy to make, but at least you can get the materials if you hunt around a bit. The replicator you never really need unless you're copying serums for someone else. The purifier you'll need. Gas tears, again, a little bit nasty to find, but you know, by the time you're doing this, you should hopefully be able to get some gas tears. The inoculator, which has, you know, magma cream, pretty hard to get. And these things, the empty serum, I'll come back to those in a second. And the synthesizer, which is a bunch of soul sand, you know, nothing much going on there that is too hard to get. But back at the inoculator, these are the magic ones that you want to begin with, the serum vials, and they are made with normal stuff except for this royal jelly. And royal jelly only comes from bees, and it only comes from the imperial bee. So the first thing I always do is try and work towards the imperial bee, because that's where you want to be. So for the imperial, you need a noble and majestic. Majestic needs cultivated and noble. Noble needs cultivated and common. Cultivated is common in any one of the original ones, and common itself is just 2 of the original ones strung together. That might seem a bit overwhelming to begin with, but basically taking the 2 first ones to get to common and then mixing common with one of these original ones to get cultivated, that'll see you right for most of the rest of your bee breeding, as most of the other branches branch from that cultivated bee. And the other thing you want to do once you get these bees going is you want to be throwing drones into this gene pool like I've got here, and that'll be making liquid DNA. You get more if you scan the drones, so scan them in a beealyzer. So once you've got your beealyzer, you can, you know, throw a drone in there. It uses up honey or honeydew, and it'll tell you some information. It'll get you, get you more DNA if it's scanned. I never scan princesses. Princesses and queens do give you a lot more, but I never scan them because they're sort of limited in the world. And yeah, I take the point that you can just go out and find more, but I don't know. It's just a habit. I don't scan them. Yeah, so that's pretty much the first things you're going to need to build. So I'll get over back to the bees again, because that's really where it all starts to get that imperial line. And one of the things I know people struggle with is actually doing the first bit of breeding, actually getting something crossed properly and getting it working. So here we have these two. It's starting because it's daytime again, so these will start breeding, and as you can see, I've boosted the drone numbers. Now, once you've boosted the drone numbers like this, what you can do is, let me just run back over to my big chest of spare bees. So I've got quite a few bees here. Now, rocky ones you find a lot of. Sorceress you tend to find a lot of as well, so let's just grab a sorceress one out. And one of the things you'll need to do at the start is make more drones or make more princesses of the same sort. So what I mean by that is you've got this nice breeding pair here, the forest queen, forest drones, they stack. You can just happily breed these over and over and over until, well, that's an ignoble one, which means the queen will eventually die and you won't get a princess back. But you may need another queen. So if I didn't have another queen here and I wanted to do the first breed, which was a meadows queen, a forest queen with a meadows drone, and I need to make this other queen, the way we do that is in another apiary, just throw all the drones in, whatever princess you want, and wait for this to breed. And then as long as you've got probably about 10 drones I've seen is the most it'll take, these will breed, you'll get a princess out. Any drones you get over here, throw into the gene pool, take the princess out and put it back in. And the idea is to keep throwing just the princess back in over and over and over until the drones it gives you stack with the original stack. And once they start stacking with the original stack, you've turned your queen into another queen of the same sort. So now that you've got your pair that you need, throw them into an apiary, and you will need these soul frames to start with to help cross them over, and then we'll leave these going. So I'm gonna cut the video here and try and do this as real time as I can for you, and come back when these are finished. So I'll see you in a bit once this princess is finished its run. Okay, and we're back. So as you can see, the cycle is finished for this, and we've ended up with, well, pretty good. We've ended up with a common princess right away, and we've ended up with a couple of meadows drones and a forest drone. Let's just move these soul frames out of the way. So our soul frames have taken a bit of a hit, but that's okay. So where would I go from here? Well, I'm going to need my beealyzer. So I did run out of honey in that before. So let's just grab some. Got plenty of honey in there. Throw the honey back in. So because we're going to use these, there's no problem in scanning them. One of the big issues I actually see is when you scan a stack of drones, it uses one bit of honey to scan a whole stack, but then you can't stack scanned drones with unscanned drones. So when you're checking to see if your queen is stabilized, you can't stack the drones. So it's a bit harder if you scan the whole stack. So that one's nearly finished as well. So let's have a look. What did we get? Now, the most important bit of advice that I ever got was to let a set stabilize. And what that means is every step of the way, make sure that so we've gone for common, make sure this common is stabilized, which means you get a common princess and a stack of drones, and the drones continue to stack the more you put it through the same apiary. Obviously without the soul frames, because you're not wanting it to transform at all. We've got meadows forest, meadows common, and forest common, and we managed to get a purebred common princess. So there's a couple of options we could do from here. Now, without throwing it out. So one of the options that I would do with this is I would keep the common princess to the side, and I would try doing the cross again with two completely different bees. I'd do another forest princess and a meadows drone, throw them in, see if we got a common drone out of it. And once we get a common drone, we can just combine the princess with the drone without the soul frames, and everything will be fine. Now, the other thing we can potentially do from here is just go, well, look, that's common. Meadows forest is not one we want, but meadows common, or forest common. Either one of those has got common in there. So what we can maybe do is take all of the soul frames out, so we don't want it to cross, put the common princess back in, and let's just pick one. Let's pick the Meadows one, and let these two go instead without frames. So what we're trying to do here is we've got a purebred common princess, a drone that had a bit of common in it, and then no cross wanted. So what I'm hoping out of this is we will get another common princess and maybe some common drones out of it that we can start to try and stabilize this line. And then once we've got common stabilized, we can then move ahead with the next stage, which is combining the common back with one of the meadows or forest. So I'm gonna let this one run again. I'm gonna cut the video here again, and we'll see what we get as soon as this cycle is finished. Okay, and we're back. And as you can see, didn't quite get the result we wanted. We've ended up with the princess regressing back to a meadows. We do, however, have two common drones, and we have a honeycomb there, which is really good. So you'll get some of these from your pure breeding. So doing this, yeah, in fact, here's one that's done exactly that. So this forest one that I had the stack of drones for, we're getting 3 drones, which we can stack with the others, the honeycomb, which we can put through a centrifuge, a forestry centrifuge to get the honey out of it. And yeah, really, this is where you start with the process, just rebreeding the same one over and over again, just to get some honey and some drones out of it. So let's take a closer look at what we got. So Meadows common, so it's only one Meadows trait in there, which is okay. We'll put that common. That's a purebred common, and that's a common / Meadows. So we've kind of ended up with the same thing. We've got, the way I always look at it, or the way I try to look at it, is there's 2 traits in a drone, 2 traits in a princess, so there's 4 possible traits, and we've got 3 out of 4 being common with these 2. So what I'm inclined to do is just recombine these 2 together. Now, one of the other things we could do is we could take this Meadows Princess, which has a bit of common, and put it in with this Forest that has a bit of common, and with the soul frames. And what you'd try and do there is to get the Meadows part of this to cross with the Forest part of this to make more common. Now, the problem with doing that is those other common traits that are on both of them tend to get in the way a little bit. So you tend to find that that common mixes with them, and you may end up jumping ahead of common and ending up in the cultivated territory. So what I'm going to do is, let's just do this one more time. We'll throw that one and the purebred common in. We'll let these run with no frames, because we're just trying to get this common to, we don't want to cross them with each other. We just literally want to make this a purebred common. So I'm going to leave that there again and stop the video, and I'll be back once this cycle is finished. Alrighty, and we are back once again. Another cycle is finished. This is looking a lot more promising. We have a common princess and 2 common drones. So let's give them a scan and see what we've got. Purebred common princess, that's good to see. Common and cultivated, so this is the next step along. We don't really want to go there yet, so we'll put that one down there. And a common, excellent. So that's pretty much what we need for our 2 purebreds, and now we're just going to breed these over and over and over together until the drones stack. Now, the reason the drones won't stack to begin with is because, see, shorter, slower, but pollination is slowest and slower. They're different, and because they're different, you will get random drones out the other side that most likely won't stack straight away. In here we have everything's the same, so that's good. And yeah, none of the others really matter for stacking the drones. So it's just pollination, the slowest and slower. Now the drone that we got out of it looks like it's perfect across all of them. So that is a purebred common drone where we'll probably get drones out that are the same. With a bit of luck, we may actually have a stack coming out of the next cross. So I might just throw those in there, and I will very quickly cut this video here again. We'll do one more breed just to see if they stack, and that'll probably be the end of this. So I'll see you once this cycle is finished. Okay, and we are back once more with a very, very similar result to last time. A common princess, 2 common drones. We do have another honeycomb here, so we'll throw that down there. Let's give a quick scan. All right, so the pollination still hasn't settled on this. Not on that one either. And that one is the one that we want to do. I wonder if that'll stack with that. No, sometimes they don't stack even though they've got... so that's the common cultivated. Okay, so we're still getting, purebred things out, but we still have a bit of work to go to settle that. I might leave this sort of first part of bee breeding there. But that is in essence what you need to do. We start with 2 of these and you get towards the common, and the really important thing I've found is to stabilize the breed as you do each one, and then move on only once you've stabilized the breed. So you go from common, mixing with that, to cultivated, and then cultivated you mix through with, I can't remember what it is now, but imperial is where you want to go first. And that's, noble, majestic, majestic's noble, cultivated, noble is common, cultivated. So yeah, once you got your common and your cultivated, you can pretty much get to anything else from there. So that's pretty much it for the first steps for bee breeding. Let's just put those back on again. As you can see, this one, yeah, you just keep putting that one through until it turns into a forest drone. Okay, so that's it for the first step of bee breeding. I will be back with a second part to this, where we go over those machines, those yellow machines downstairs. They help you with breeding a lot, but you do need to get this imperial bee first because you need the serum vials. You can't do anything without these. Where are they? Empty serum. Empty serum. You can't do anything without these, and you need the royal jelly for that. So imperial is always the first stop you should make. And remember, keep your spare drones when you're doing each breed, but once you've stabilized to your common, so now that I've stabilized those 2, all of these extra drones, I'm just going to throw straight into that gene pool to get liquid DNA. You don't get much per drone, and you will use a bit of it, so you need to get that happening. So that's all for this one, and as always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.